Welcome once again, this time to the Breakout Room 1. I will be your facilitator today for this breakout room session. It's important again to mention every presenting company today have 5 minutes for presentation and 4 minutes for Q&A part, and then we give around a minute to our experts in the room to complete the evaluation form that I will share just in a minute in the chat. Now we will start with the introductions of our experts in the room. And first I give the floor to Mario.
Hi, thanks, Natalia. Thank you, and good morning, everyone. So my name is Mario Augusto. I'm the head of Novozymes Investments, which is basically the corporate VC, if you like, for Novozymes, which is an industrial biotechnology company based in Copenhagen. We basically have 16 investments across a number of companies with a very strong sustainability edge to it, from ag to food to animal health to energy. And we typically look for technologies and that basically harvest biology, fermentation, as well as microbes and enzymes to create the new biosolutions that we need to tackle some of the major issues we have going forward. So we tend to look at things very early stage, seed, Series A, sometimes Series B, and we are sort of geography agnostic. So that's it from my side.
Thank you very much. Now, Jonas.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jonas, investment manager from vVenture. vVenture is an impact fund based in Germany, initiated by Matthias Willenbacher, a co-founder of UV, a project builder for solar and wind parks, and we are investing in seed stage companies, also sector agnostic more or less. 4 verticals: energy, food, mobility, and green fintech.
Thank you, Jonas. Now I give the floor to Niels.
Hello, everyone. Niels from Hightech Gründerfonds, HTGF, one of, I think, the largest German seed stage funds. We look into anything tech. Me in particular, I'm part of the industrial tech team, so we look at B2B solutions, hardware, software, any combination of that.
Thank you. Now I invite Hans.
Yes, good morning, everybody. Hans Rijkenberg from Regional Experts based in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. My company helps companies and organizations to find and obtain funding, both public and private. And I've been working with Tech2 Europe Unlimited since 2007.
Thank you very much, Hans. Now Aurélien. Sorry if I don't pronounce the name correctly.
You can even try to pronounce my family name if you want to make it harder.
Oh, no. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm an expert coach started at KBC. We are equity-free and money-free accelerator program of 12-month build startup. Reach the next stage of client, hopefully, and then funding. And I've been part of Investor Horizon for the last 2 years.
Thank you very much. Kostis, I think he didn't join us yet, but maybe soon. So I give the floor to Vadim.
Yeah, hello. My name is Vadim. I'm from Severstal Ventures. Yes, it's a corporate fund of a company, Severstal. It's metals and mining in Russia. Yeah, and actually we are focusing on different stuff like energy, materials, mining, metals, so everything which can be useful for Severstal. Yes, so long story short like this. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Vadim. And our last expert, Lars, will join us a bit later. So now we can proceed with our first company. So I will give the floor to Christopher. Christopher, are you ready to share your screen?
I am. Thank you, Natalia. Good morning, everybody. You can see that now?
Yes, perfect.
Very good. Very good. So I'm Chris Brandon, co-founder of EH Group, based in now slightly snowy Switzerland. And we, since 2017, have been working on hydrogen fuel cell technology. So what we're trying to solve are the issues of cost and complexity, which are one of the factors hindering the more widespread deployment of this very great technology. So what we've done is we have redesigned at a microstructure level what happens in PEM fuel cell stacks. The net result is that ours are much more compact, lightweight. We're able to get sort of about 1.5 times lighter and smaller than the next best thing in the market. We're able to get quite high system efficiencies due to certain characteristics of our stack, which we can delve on at a later stage. But this is also designed for manufacturing. The current process for assembling and production of stacks makes it extremely expensive, somewhere between 800 to 1,000 euros per kilowatt. In our case, because of the unique design of our cells, we're able to produce them in a one-step process. We've been working with a Swiss industrial partner on specialized machinery for this, which literally assembles a fully qualified stack in a matter of minutes. This for us is a key aid to scaling up, but also getting the cost down very aggressively. The other thing that scales up are the stacks themselves. Typically what happens in the market, in stacks you see in the market above 100 kilowatts, the performance drops. That's why here in Switzerland, we have the Hyundai fuel cell trucks running around with a 200 kilowatt system, and they have 2 stacks in there. We don't have that limitation with our stack technology, and our largest stack platform goes to just over 250 kilowatts, which we see as the sort of key building block for all the key applications where fuel cells are at their strongest. We design the stack, but we also provide the systems as well. We've patented various aspects of the stack in terms of components, design, and we're currently in the process of filing further 5 patents on actually the production and assembly process, which is highly proprietary. Since early 2020, we've been deploying our stacks and systems in a whole range of mobile applications, such as for very large forklift manufacturers, maritime projects, off-road mobility, some mining equipment companies. Our largest system, however, has been on a stationary site. It's going to an off-grid EV supercharger, 250 kilowatt system, and also being used for ship-to-shore power at various ports in France. The market has obviously had a very significant boost in the last 18 months from the EU Green Deal in particular, and where we're seeing the strongest interest is in heavy-duty mobility. So things like trucks, rail, maritime, mining trucks, etc. Anywhere you need, these are all commercial applications where you need range, payload, for extensive use. There are obviously a group of competitors, there's maybe like a dozen globally, but they're all very much following the same sort of technology path, regardless of their size. And therefore, we think they will struggle to get the performance numbers we do. And equally importantly, they will struggle to get down the cost curve, despite industrializing the way we do because of that technology path. We either operate as stack or system supplier for our clients and are able also to provide sort of predictive maintenance and remote support. But with more sophisticated and larger OEMs, so forklift manufacturers, trucking, mining, and so on, that have some fuel cell expertise, we look to do joint development of the systems whereby our stacks are optimized for their application. And we thereafter operate as a stack supplier. But it's not a Lego brick. To a certain extent, you lock yourself in. And the key is that even at very low volumes, the x-axis is not to scale, we're able to be significantly lower in cost than what this current marketplace. We have a strong team of over 15 engineers now. It's really the full spectrum from electrochemists to electrical engineers, control automation, etc. This is where I'm sitting, based between Geneva and Lausanne, with nice views of the Mont Blanc when the sun is shining. We've raised about 8 million Swiss francs thus far, so roughly 8 million euros in seed, non-dilutive funding, a pre-series A convert, and some lease financing from a major bank for our production machinery. This has enabled us to establish the team, get some roadheads, beachheads with some key clients. We're now preparing for a Series A in early 2022 of about 10 million euros. This is focused on scaling up towards more production ready And we're looking for a diverse cap table, people who share our vision that hydrogen fuel cells can work for decarbonizing our energy future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Christopher, for your presentation. I see already questions in the chat. So Hans, can you start?
Yes, thank you for the presentation. I was wondering, you mentioned that you are based in an incubator from ESA.
Yeah.
What is critical in the support they deliver to you? Was it useful?
Let me go back to the. I got to say, being part of ESA was great. I'll give you the. I'll share the one slide. So we did the ESA big thing for 2 years. What we could do is actually test our stacks for sort of space rigor applications. So this is sort of quite a higher level than you have for automotive and so on. So we could do thermal tests up to like plus 90 degrees down to minus 20. And then what we did down here was it basically simulates space shuttle launch. It's a largest sort of vibrating platform with space company Huag, based here in Switzerland. So it goes up to 15 Gs. Automotive grade is 5 Gs, but the important thing is that if you look at forklifts, mining, and so on, applications where fuel cells really are getting a lot of momentum, you need those kind of high level sort of structural tests.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. The next question is coming from Vadim.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. Can you please mention again companies with whom you are making pilots currently, and maybe the status of these pilots? So are they successful or not? I maybe just miss it.
Yeah. So we'll give you the names. I'll give you the type of companies that have been involved. So they've been sort of mining equipment companies, a very large forklift manufacturer, a maritime project. And we're just starting now actually with a rail and a trucking. So that's on the mobility side, and then on the stationary side has been microgrid and a large sort of backup to 250 kilowatts. So, touch wood, so far so good. It is a learning process. We're at our stacks are sort of production ready and good. The systems themselves are sort of a beta phase, slightly depending on the application.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Just so that everyone sees what a fuel cell stack looks like. Give you a little show and tell. This just to give it a size, that's 35 kilowatts. Enough to power a very large crane or a bus range extender, that sort of thing.
Thank you. Next question is from Niels.
Yes, can you say maybe a couple of words on which technological challenges or risks may still lay ahead?
So the challenge is right now is more on, so two answers to that. We still see a long development pathway. So in terms of it's production ready, it's good, but the way to stay ahead in this industry, you have to keep innovating. So at the moment, our cell pitch is 800 microns. We see a pathway to sort of 650. We see a lot of things that can be improved, and you have to keep pushing. In parallel, I think the other big risk for us is that you have to then learn how to make 100,000 of them, and they have to be identical. So there's a lot to be done.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. And we have time for one more question. So Aurélien.
Yes, thanks. Can you elaborate a bit on your go-to-market plan? What happens after the pilot? How long is your sales cycle?
So the sales cycles are typically quite long. So I'd say about 9 months. But we've sort of established some good inroads with some pretty significant players in trucking, in mining, in forklifts, which are areas where there's near-term volumes. And I guess in that way, we try to be selective with the pilot projects that either demonstrate the technology in a specific environment that matters, and then or that has a large backer behind that can actually put some orders in.
Okay, and you already agreed on the next step with those companies you do pilot with? What happened next?
Yeah, so we're negotiating some pretty decent supply agreements for between 20 and 30 megawatts over the next 2 years. You know, they're not signed yet, but they're heading the right way.
Okay,
So,
thanks.
Thank you very much, Christopher, for your presentation, and to the experts for the questions. Now it's time to complete the evaluation form for this company. The link is in the chat. Please let me know if any issues.
Thank you all. I need to unfortunately jump, but thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Vadim, yeah, you can complete it after the presentations, but it will be a bit time consuming. That's why we are giving ideally 1 minute after each one of the presentations for this. But as you prefer, this is totally up to you. Thank you. So now I will invite the second company in our list to share screen. This is Tanya from AB Nanotechnologies.
Hello. Here we go. Can you now see everything? I know it's still a stupid question after a year doing Teams and Zoom, but it is a relevant one.
Yeah, this is the most relevant question. No worries. We see your presentation perfectly, and if you're ready, you can start. Good luck.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for listening in. I just want to raise one issue, and that is that 1/5 of all produced energy in the world goes to overcome friction, and 30% of that goes to overcome friction in the industry, and approximately 30% of that goes to overcome friction in transportation sector. So what we do is highly relevant. We have done research for 25 years. We are a company with an R&D and production facility in Finland. And what we do is an innovative lubricant additive that we try to disrupt the market with since 2010, which was the year when we founded the company. So what is unique is that it actually intermixes with the metals. And it's also unique because we use scrap products from the mining industry, and we blend it into our additive, and we have made it work so that you can reduce friction with 2 to 5%, and thereby you also reduce the emissions. So it is a full circle in sustainability, although we are operating still in the lubricant industry for marine oils, for transportation oils. However, one drop is enough. So there's literally 0.3% of our chemistry that needs to go into the lubricant additive. We do have customers and key initiatives around the globe. So we are a startup scale-up company that are looking at taking the next step, the toughest step, I would say, and that is to scale up. So what we do is with a disruptive technology, we form a tribal film that significantly reduces friction in any combustion engine. But also through the lifetime circle, we realize that we can lower friction in, for example, gearboxes and in bearings. So what we have done is move the company a little bit from the combustion engine, although most of our customers are in that segment, towards the windmill and the wind production, because the gearboxes tend to fail. And therefore, we have seen through research done in the Schweinfurt University and Fraunhofer Institute in Germany that we can prolong the bearings and the gearboxes and the lifetime by 10 times. It's been a long journey for us with, as I said, 25 years of research and then founding the company 2010. We can produce and we can scale up. We have done the ISO certifications. We've done every step of it. And we also have a solid patent portfolio and trademarks protection in key areas. So the benefits are that we can enhance any existing base oil, and we are multifunction, so you reduce the harmful chemistry inside the oils and the lubricants. We can also suppress undesirable base oil properties. We can lower the sulfur, and we can also lower the ashes. And we can also prolong the lifetime of the base oils. So with nanol inside, the chemistry doesn't get depleted like some of our competitors. So the competitors are, for you, probably known. Some of them are liquid moly, was invented in the 70s. ZDDP, which is a zinc-based, was actually invented in the 30s. And nanol has better qualities and a better and longer lifetime, plus it is completely circular, which I also mentioned before. We take scrap products and put it into our lubrication additive. It's very simple, basically. It's a process where our molecules actually only works when they get disrupted by heat or friction. If you don't have any friction in the perfect world, nothing would basically happen. It is only used and activated when you release the active chemistry inside of the micelles. It is a friction modifier, it is a wear, it is antioxidant, and it can reduce white etching cracks. As you can see in this slide here, in one of our tests inside of a bearing, and that is the test where we prolong the lifetime of the bearings with 10 times compared to conventional lubrication. Some of our customers, because you should not only believe in me, but some of the customers here show considerable results, ranging from huge marine engines to power plants, where you have 100% output all the time, which pollutes tremendously. You also can see that in these power plants, we reduced the usage of fuels by 2%, and the pollution comes with it. I'm timed out now, so I should stop sharing, but some of our customers are in the pipeline. And these are some of our patents that we have across the globe. And we are looking to invest for funding around range for 2 million to be used as the next step in our scale up. We have a very good advisory board and a solid company structure with expertise in the area. Thank you so much, and sorry I prolonged it. I'm really passionate about sustainability.
Thank you very much, Tanya. First question is already in the chat. Hans?
Yes, thank you for your presentation. Well, it's always a challenge if you have to tell a lot and you only have 5 minutes. We see that all the time, but that's really a challenge also to focus on the other topics. For instance, I was wondering whether there are alternative technologies, and do you have competitors?
There are alternative technologies, and I cannot speak for them. There are companies like a German company called Revitec. They are using silicon-based, and I cannot talk about them. We are using copper particles that comes from the scrap from the mines, from the copper mines, which would naturally be just stopped there in the mines or polluting in the environment. We use those products, and we have a very simple process of reusing it, as copper is known and has been known to be a friction reducer for many, many years, but to control it has been the trick.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Now, Vadim.
Thank you for the presentation. I think it's really a challenge, to explain everything in 5 minutes. I will not do it. So yeah, you mentioned about the copper on slide 10. So what about steel? So do you have some?
No. Basically, if you think about a combustion engine and you have a liner inside the engine and you have the piston rings, actually where you put in the lubrication oil in the engine, it will only get activated in, for example, a steel when it gets enough friction. if there's no friction and the heat is not there, the copper particles will not be activated. So it will basically implode and it will form a very thin copper layer where the friction is needed. For a layman, I would actually say that this is an anti-wrinkle cream for an engine, but it actually works. So it uses and lowers the friction, and we can lower scientifically also the emissions coming out with 30% and the greenhouse gases damaging, because it has a catalytic effect, for example, in cars.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question from Aurélien.
Can you tell us more about what did you understood that your competitor doesn't? What do you do differently than them beside the tech?
What we have done differently is that we have realized that as all technologies has to be combined to fight climate change, this is a solution that can be used here and now. However, there's also very long R&D cycles in this. So what we have done, we have shortcutted some of the huge oil companies, and we focus on mid-sized oil companies in parts of the world where the global heat and global warming is imminent. So we blend nanol into oils and ready-made oils, for example, in Asia. I'm not sure if that answers your question, Aurélien, but I think that there's not so many ways of doing this than to scientifically prove that it works, to get trustworthiness, and to work with really good and well-renowned institutes like we have done for many, many years to prove that it actually works. And still, we need to prove to individual companies before they are actually willing to put it inside a car or a truck or a bus, even if they could save a lot of fuel and a lot of emissions.
Thank you, Tanya.
Now the next question is from Niels.
Thanks for your presentation, Tanya. Yeah, one question on your business model, or like how you make profit. Think of if I was applying your bearings in a windmill, how much time would it take me to pay back the investment in your lubricant?
Well, in the windmill, you know, each and every windmill we have, there's about 1,000 liters of lubricant oil and 200 to 300 lubricant grease in every windmill around the globe. And the nanol cost is very low in comparison with the oil prices today. So basically, I say when I try to convince car users, you can fill up your tank twice and you repaid for the lubricant oil that stays in your car for 12 to 16 months. So you have an instant payback, basically.
Thanks. Cool.
Thank you. And for one more question, Mario.
Thanks, Tanya, for the presentation. Just curious to understand for how long does the friction trigger actually works with your technology, and how far can a user basically deploy that and keep that without requiring to reuse it?
Okay, so you basically nanol doesn't get depleted inside of the oil. Like, for example, if you have an oil, you have zinc in it, which is the most conventional used for friction modification. That gets depleted, so that's why you have to make the oil change. With nanol, that does not happen. It keeps regenerating itself under heat and under the friction. So basically, I'm not saying it's forever, because obviously it's not, but you should change your oils by every 1 year or 2 years. The car companies wants us to keep the same oil for longer and longer, but still wants us to keep the same oils. So the fine part with nanol is also it works in reconditioned oil, because you don't filter away the particles. So you can keep the same chemicals and take out the ashes of the oil, recondition it, put it back again, and you'll still have the same quality. We have tried that, so it's also documented.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Tanya, for your presentation.
Thank you.
It's time to complete the evaluation form for this company, dear experts. And meanwhile, I invite the next company to share the screen. This is Rolf for TwinTech.
Yes, I'll do.
Could you try full screen mode, please?
That should be, isn't it?
Not yet. You need to click on no, the very last button on the right. It's this one.
Yeah, isn't it? I clicked.
Okay, it seems
I think
this
it's
is it.
full screen, but the size is different. Just
Okay,
zoom in.
okay, then fine. Okay, if you're ready, please start and good luck.
Yeah, thanks. So wind energy drones speeding up the transition to net zero. I'm Rolf Luxinger, co-founder and CEO of TwinTech. There is a general consent also confirmed by COP26 to reach net zero by 2050. The fundamental problem is that how actually we can achieve that. Experts estimate that current renewable energy technologies such as hydro, PV and wind can only reduce the greenhouse gas emissions by about 33% by 2050 due to their limitations. So new and complementary technologies are urgently needed. Our wind energy generator is basically a drone on a tether which flies like a kite driven by the wind, producing electrical power in a ground-based generator. The key advantage is that we don't need a tower or a foundation, so we can operate at higher altitudes in stronger winds and save 90% of the material. We can have mobile and floating wind power, improve the land usage, and as well as have minimal visual and environmental impact. We target three main markets with our product. First, decentralized power, so talking about island, remote communities, mines, which produce electricity today with diesel generator, where the mobility is a key asset. Then second, utility scale onshore, where the drone can actually operate at higher altitudes above the current wind farms. And third, with floating wind deep offshore with almost infinite space available and fantastic wind resources. The total addressable market for the three segments is 360 billion euros. And we have established partnerships with large volume customers. So for instance, Aggreko has confirmed their interest for 100 units in the first 5 years, worth of 200 million euros for the rental power market only. Our first commercial product is the TT1000 with 1 megawatt power, 30 meter span. The whole system is transportable in 4 standard shipping containers, so it's highly mobile and optimized for the decentralized power market. Cost of energy is the key value. So 50 to 120 euros per megawatt hour is very attractive for decentralized power market, which is about half of the diesel energy. And it's definitely at the lower end of PV. For the utility scale, we estimate cost of energy in the range of 20 to 50 euro per megawatt hour for a 3 megawatt product, which is very competitive to all prevailing power technologies. There are several startups active in this so-called airborne wind energy sector. So TwinTech has several key USPs. First, we have a technology which is scalable to the megawatt or utility scale. We have established these strategic partnerships. And third, most important, we have a safe and proven launch and landing concept, which is protected. So the patent is granted in Europe, US, Australia, China, and pending in Canada. We have a proven and experienced management team with George, a senior expert in business development and sales, and Corey is a senior engineer as CTO. Since this summer, we have also board with global professionals from the energy, utility, and aviation sector. So our president, Rayat, has served as the CEO of BP Global Wind and Solar. He lives in the Bay Area in California. Marco is the CEO of a European utility, and Tommaso is heading the largest department of the European Space Agency. Key milestone in our development was 2019, our full proof of concept. Last year, we established product market fit in close cooperation with our partners. Our next step is to build a commercial subscale demonstrator system 2023, and the rollout of the T2000 is planned for 2025. We are looking now for total investment of 40 million euros to build and test the commercial subscale system. The fundraise is split in a bridge of 3 million, which is a convertible loan at favorable conditions, which is open right now, and the Series A of 11 million euros to be closed in Q3 2022. Thank you for your interest. I'm looking forward to your questions.
Thank you very much, Rolf, for your presentation. Now it's time for questions. First one is coming from Manuela.
Hello, everyone. I missed my presentation, so that's not a problem. You can see my profile on Investor Horizon platform. Thank you for your presentation. It's very interesting, Rolf. I would like to know what are your company customer, and your going to market strategy. Thank you.
Yeah, as said, we have partnerships established with Breakout. So that's one of the world leading company in rental power. They have a fleet of 10 gigawatt of diesel generators in containers, which they ship around for, let's say, temporary power needs. And they're desperately looking for also renewable mobile solutions. And another partnership we have established with Engie, it's a big French-based global utility, which are very interested in basically behind the meter applications for decentralized power, but also then utility scale on and offshore.
Thank you. Now the next question is from Hans.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. I have a question and a recommendation. My recommendation is that you change the font of the letters in your presentation. I mean, it's quite small, and sometimes it's hard to read. So I would like to recommend that you make it larger so it's easier to read. And as a question, I would like to ask you if you could tell a bit more about what you're asking from an investor and what are you offering?
As said, we would like to raise now 40 million euros. That's the financial need split in this bridge of 3 million as a convertible and the Series A of 11 million. And with this money, we would like to build this commercial subscale demonstrator system together with our strategic partners.
Okay.
Thank you. The next question is from Vadim.
Yeah. Hi, Rolf. Hi, Rolf.
Hi.
Yeah, it's very nice technology, really. And it seems to be that my colleagues visited you a couple of years ago. Actually, yeah, from Severstal Ventures. So my main question is on slide 9, I think. It's the gap, yeah, between 2020 and 2023 commercialization. So what's the reason for this, gap of 3 years? So what will you focus on during this years?
Yeah, I mean, basically what we want to do now and already planned is to build this commercial subscale demonstrator. So what we have here, let's say, done in 2019, this full proof of concept was on a small scale system. And now we have to scale this up to this demonstrator scale. And this will do together also with partners from the aviation sector who are expert actually in building such flying planes, also fully automated planes. And that's basically what we will do the next 2 years on the technical side.
Okay, good. Can I have just one more question? Sorry. How many megawatts do you plan in 2023 and 2025? I just, don't see it on the presentation.
So basically the product will be a 1 megawatt, the TT1000, so a 1 megawatt unit. And that's then 2025, we will have this commercial rollout of that product.
Yep, okay. Got it. I just, sorry, don't see it.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you, and we have time just for one short question, so I give the word to Jonas.
Thanks, Rolf. A very interesting technology. I was just wondering, where do you see the major challenges in scaling up the next years?
Yeah, what I would say, there's two challenges. One is by scaling up, we must make sure that the wing doesn't get really heavier. So I mean that's a technical challenge, which we would say somehow have under control, but it's not easy. And the second one is then production costs. So I mean, there we also talk to manufacturer. I mean, in the end, cost of energy has to be in these boundaries, as I said. And I mean, that's definitely also a challenge. But I mean, according to our studies, we definitely can hit these targets. But this will not be just an easy thing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now you could stop sharing your screen, Rolf, and now I can invite to our virtual stage our next company. This is Energiat and Pablo.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to share my screen.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, so when you are ready, I can start.
I guess you can. Thank you.
I can. Okay, so hello, everyone. This is the way that today companies do, the transmission companies or distribution companies do the maintenance of their power lines. As you can see, that's something that's expensive, dangerous, take lots of time. More than 30% of the costs of these companies are related to the maintenance of the power lines. And there are several challenges in order to deliver the electricity from the generation to our homes. The way to solve that everyone wants to talk and to improve is to talk about smart grids, which has to use the concepts of Internet of Things, which means that these companies need to generate lots of information and data about their assets in order to bring more efficiency to the operation and to the maintenance. But there is a challenge, because in order to sensorize the whole network, mostly of these devices are based on batteries, which makes everything more expensive, complicated. You have environment costs associated to the maintenance of these devices. And mainly the cost is the biggest challenge. Energiat solves that problem by using piezoelectric energy harvesting. That's a technology patented by us, which allowed us to create devices that doesn't need batteries. So how does that work? Our device collects the residual energy from the environment. It can be installed in every part of the assets, the power lines, the towers, and other parts of the grid. There is a set of sensors such as temperature, magnetic field, current, light, acceleration, humidity, and we can add other types of sensors. This generates the huge amount of information. We send it to the cloud, at the cloud or platform, and algorithm transform this as intelligent for the use case. So these clients can improve and reduce up to 20% of their operation and maintenance costs. how do they do that? Well, there are several use cases such as fault detection, improving the maximum capacity of the grid by applying dynamic line rating, and also working with predictable maintenance, also integrating the renewable sources on the grid. Several ways to use that. Basically, the advantage that because we don't use batteries, we can be 4 to 5 times more cost efficient than other solutions, which allows these companies to do a global deployment on the grid. And at the same device can be used for several use cases and also be installed in every type of the grid. The market opportunity is huge. There are 16 million kilometers of power lines only in Europe and Latin America. And the companies are starting to get innovations and open to digitalize their assets and also working with critical power lines. Our team has more than 10 years of experience working with innovation, piezoelectric materials, IoT, and also business development and startups. We are a spin-off of the biggest innovation laboratory of Spain, the CSIC, and we already had a pre-seed investment of Energy, and we were awarded several times, recognizing the technology and the innovation. We've done several, we've done basically 3 pilots, which are gonna go quickly, but just to give you an overview, this was the first pilot we've done in a substation close to our facilities to validate communications, energy harvester, and the set of sensors. We are working with Iberdrola, that's one of the biggest distribution companies in Spain. We are based in Barcelona, actually, so we are close. Besides testing our device, we are also working a solution to avoid birds to hit the power lines and basically detect the birds and avoid them to hit, which is one of the main causes of power faults. And Enercal is the biggest TSO from New Caledonia, a French territory, and there we are working with dynamic line rating and power faults. Today, we are raising 800,000 euros for a seed round, and I'm gonna go quickly here, but basically, we are now working with these pilots. We are selling more pilots, and in order to do product and market fit, and we have expectation to sell more companies in the future. But basically, the seed round that we are raising now is to work with product fit, finalizing the pilots, hiring more teams, and starting to ramp up the sales. So we believe that our vision is that a global deployment of IoT devices can help these companies to bring more efficiency to the market and in order to create a type of Google Maps of the electrical grid. So thank you very much. And if you are interested to know more or to get, we are now in the middle of the seed round, or already talked to investors, but we are still open to meet new investors and go through this, or maybe join. You can join on the round that we are doing. So you have my contacts and feel free to reach me out.
Thank you very much, Pablo. You were perfectly on time. We have already first question in the chat, Hans.
Yes, well, very nice presentation. My compliments for you, because I mean, right from the start, you make it clear that you have customers with pain and you have a solution. So that's very good. Also, you told us a lot. I was just wondering if you could tell a little bit more about the service, how you implement it.
How do I implement the devices, or?
Yes, so are you serving directly to the energy companies, or are you working together with maintenance companies?
Okay. We can do both. Now we are working directly with the distribution or the transmission companies. But in the future, for example, we have a partner that can do the maintenance, or even partners that work with IoT. We can use them as channels. But I think we're gonna have a different channels to reach and sell the device in the future. But now we are more focused in direct sales.
Okay, clear.
Thank you. Next question is from Niels.
Thanks, Paulo. Yes, can you elaborate a bit more on how you connect your devices, like the communication via GSM, via LoRa? How do you get all this information back into your systems?
Yeah, That's a big challenge, especially because some parts of the grid you don't have connection. So how can send information to the cloud? So basically our devices has a proprietary network. So we have a mesh network between them. So they send information to each other, have a distance, have different types of architecture, how to communicate. And you have a gateway, usually each a few kilometers. And this gateway can send information through LoRaWAN or 3G or IB and IoT. That depends of the clients and the situation on the field.
Thank you. Next question from Aurelian.
Yes, great presentation, super clear. Can you tell us more about your forecasted revenue and how do you get there? What are the unit economics behind it?
All right, we have sold this year around 150,000 euros, which was a little bit more than what we were expecting. And we are actually reviewing the forecast this year with the new numbers and with experience. But basically, we expect to break even the end of 2023 or in 24. But basically, there is I think it's interesting to show there are 3 revenue streams for our device, for our business. One is selling the device, and the other 2 is one to have access to the data, and the other to have access to the grid analytics, which is the intelligence platform. So that means that we have to sell the pilots before. That's one types of revenue that comes, but basically it's a setup, a pre-sale. The device, and later there is the recurrent revenue. That's the 2 fees that I told you.
On average, for one customer, one of the business case you have, how many devices would you install?
Depends of the size of the network, but we expect to install around 4 devices per kilometer. So you imagine, for example, a big company has more than 30,000 kilometers. In Spain, for example, there are some companies that are 200,000 kilometers, depends. But we estimate that they're going to install in the next 5 years this type of device in at least 10% of their grid. That would be the critical. But for what we receive, the feedback from our clients, that's something that they want to do, the global deployment. And that's why it's important to work with devices that are way cost efficient. So in comparison, there are devices that cost over 1,000 euros. There are devices that cost over 6,000 euros for only one type of applications. So even in the future, we might be able to charge more than what we're expecting, but we are working with these economics and these values for now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Pablo, and to our experts for the questions. Now it's time to fill in the evaluation form for this company.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I have another meeting now that I'm gonna have to leave, but feel free to reach me out later.
Thank you, Pablo.
Thank you.
And now I invite our next company. This is Test One and Alessandro.
Hello, nice to meet you. Good morning.
Good morning,
Sharing
welcome.
the screen. Okay. Now I think you are able to see my presentation.
Could you try, yes, full screen mode now. Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me very well? So I can start if you're ready.
Yes, please.
Yes, so first of all, our mission is to solve the oil pollution. We don't have to think that this problem is only limited on the 5 or 6 accidents, big accident that we have every year, but is a daily problem through the whole supply chain of the oil. It's a problem that happens in every part of the world every day. In fact, if we consider and compare the quantity in the Gulf of Mexico that was spilled and the average quantity spilled in the water every year, this quantity is double or 3 times the Gulf of Mexico, which was the 11th September of the environment. So the problem of oil spill is similar to the problem of the plastic maybe is more important, but is not so visible, such as the plastic. So it's less considered today, but it has the same impact such as the plastic problem. There are different methods for the oil spill reclamation, but all of these methods are not efficient, ugly, with a high cost, and sometimes the problem is split from the water to the atmosphere. So it's simply a splitting of a problem. Our product is a patented product, which is a sponge. It is able to absorb every kind of hydrocarbons. About 30 times it's our weight. You can see in real time that the oil is absorbed and the water is not absorbed because it's hydrophobic. So it's a special formulation. Now is an experiment with an higher quantity of oil. As I say, the sponge is able to recover 30 times its our weight in every use. But the main strength of the product is that it's able to be reused about 200 times. So as you can see in this experiment with crude oil, it's possible to squeeze the sponge and use again the sponge. So one side we have the spilled oil, and it's possible to reuse this oil. And on the other side, it's possible to use the material. So 1 kilogram of this material is able to absorb about 6 tons of hydrocarbons. This is a real case, first case that we face in Canary Islands for the Spanish government. They had an accident with a big spill of 150 tons in the water. Here we can see a part of the accident and the solution with our material that was deployed for the government. And just to give you some numbers, this is the final situation with the clean water. Just to give you some numbers, we were in the accident with the main contractors in the world that works in the oil spill. But the difference was that we were able to deploy the technology in 4 days against 3-5 weeks. Our price was reduced by 10 times by compared with the price of the other competitors. And the quantity of oil collected was 55%. And not the 5 or 20%, which is the average quantity that today is possible to recover with traditional methods. Also in the Gulf of Mexico, the British Petroleum spent $40 billion for the reclamation, but they were able to recover only the 90% of the oil in the water. So we can understand that there is a problem in the methods that are able to recover the oil spill, because if I spend 40 billion and I recover the 19%, I have a problem. Is not enough. Just to let's understand the market is a very huge market with the post-oil spill market where we are placed is $21 billion. So this is our market, and the only market of traditional absorbents is $7 billion. But the main difference between us and the traditional absorbents used today is that we reduce the CO2 creating the atmosphere by 3,000 times, because we don't burn the material, we reuse the material. We have a very complex business model in the oil and gas mainly. We are working with oil companies. Our main customer is Italian ENI. We have 3 certification made by ENI. We have the certification by governments and special laboratories. We have a business model with environmental contractors, hydrocarbon storage, processing distribution companies, foundation, university, and a business model more in B2C and for port and marinas with agents and distributors. We are also working with tankers for the prevention of port, coastal remediation, marinas. It's a very complex business model. It's very difficult to explain it in 5 minutes because it's very complicated. But I hope to let you understand how the technology works. And I am obviously at your full disposal for every question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alessandro, for your presentation. I see first questions in the chat. We start with Vadim.
Yeah, hello. A very decent presentation actually, and good that you fill in the video here. So just to see this product working. So yeah, my question is about what about IP? Yes, on this sponge. Yes, can other competitors so use this product as you, or you have some kind of competitive advantage and they just can't copy it?
No, really, first of all, we have obviously the patent, but we know that in the chemical sector, the patent is possible to copy a product very easily in the chemical sector mainly. It's very difficult to reply the product because we use a huge number of materials with a special equilibrium between the materials. So it's very difficult to copy the product. And we have also to say that the actual research in this field, also made by US government, for example, with the Argonne National Lab, are made using graphene and other material that we are not using, and considering the dipping of the material and not the formulation of the material itself. So we worked in the formulation of the whole material, and this is the very difficult thing of our patent, working on the formulation, not on a dipping external for the material.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your question.
Next question is from Manuela.
Yes, thank you, Alessandro, for your presentation. It was very good to include the video during the presentation. I would like to ask you one question from technical part. You say that you will squeeze your sponge to put off the oil, but what happens if you are in an open sea?
Yes, actually, we are working mainly on ports, on marinas, on oil companies, in refineries, channels, and onshore pollution, and also groundwater, because we are spreading the application of our technology in different fields. About the open sea, actually, is not a market that we are facing. We are only facing it in the tankers, but because the tankers have for law traditional absorbents, they must have it. But with our material, because it recovers in 3 times the oil of traditional absorbents, the ship can say, we have a protocol on board not to recover 10,000 liters, but 30,000 liters, only with one use, not with considering the use, because the crew deck will not make an intervention of the oil spill. They will not work on this. For the open sea, we have a plan in the next future. We are creating a special drone. This is a project made with the King's College in London. It's a drone that is able to work in the open sea. It is a first model, but it's possible to increase the size of the drone to work in the open sea with a squeezing system inside. And so it's possible to work, yes, offshore, but it costs a lot. So we have to make a plan to arrive to this result, but we hope to arrive here. So yes, for sure.
Thank you. Very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from Hans.
Yes, very interesting solution, and thank you for your presentation. I'm sure that you have other application possibilities for your product. Are you foreseeing that?
So the question is if we have opportunity for the different deployment of the product.
Yes, in other sectors, other
yeah, for sure. For example, now we are working for the groundwater with piezometers. We have created a different type of piezometers, which is working very, very well. We are working with oil companies in different fields, and they are working very well. And for example, we are using the material for the filtration of the oil from the water. For example, in industrial complex for the air compressor systems, we are working on the filtration of the water oil emulsion condensate that comes from the industry air compressor systems. And it works very well because it lasts about 4 or 5 times more than the traditional methods used today in the industrial sector. We're working with the top company in Italy that produce and sell filters for that, and they are replacing the whole product range that they have with our material because it's working very well.
Clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from Aurelien.
Yes, thanks for the presentation. I was wondering if you could tell us more about the team behind the project, the connection you have in the industry, and how good you are at selling your product.
Yeah, we have different collaboration. For example, we are working also with companies for the commercial side. We are working with university, for example, the Ca' Foscari University in Venice, with the University of Las Palmas, Oceanographic, with the Technological Institute of Hanover. They are making a publication about the sponge that will be presented to ITOF, which is one of the best label in the oil spill and tankers and prevention of oil spill. Our team is mainly composed by the people that you are seeing here. For example, for the technical part and the oil spill part, we have a professor, which is Professor Cisneros, which is professor at the Institute of Las Palmas for coastal engineering for coast and ports, for physics, and is an expert for the government of decontamination. But we have also a huge team also considering partners, because, for example, when we work for an oil company, we have to propose a complete solution, not only maybe for the water, but also with bioremediation, with other methods that are innovative in the field of remediation. So we are only looking at companies that has new methods and green methods for the remediation. And we are creating also, as to say, group of companies to work on the same project with different competence, as for the water and for the remediation in the water, other companies for the soil remediation, for the sediment remediation. So we are providing also a complete solution for the remediation. And actually we are starting working mainly with the oil companies, I said with CNI, because we are preparing pre-made box of solutions. Because if I go to Shell, for example, and I say, I have this product, which is beautiful, it recovers the oil, but I don't explain where is the problem, what I can solve exactly for them. We have a stop in the oil company. So the first step is to go to one oil company or two, solve them 4, 5, 6 problems, and then go to Shell, to BP, and to others and say, okay, I solved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 problems for them in this way and this problem. Not only explaining them, I have this technology, because it's not enough to go ahead with these companies. And we are working also for remediation. For example, in ports, we have 10 ports in Italy now protected with our technology. We are also working with a pipeline, which is 1,200 kilometers long in Europe, to prepare some hubs where we have the water to have a prevention for the oil spill in the critical part of the pipeline, to be ready to intervene on an oil spill in the case of oil spill for the pipeline. So we have a lot of projects actually ongoing in the market.
Thank you. Just the time is running really fast. I'm sorry about this. We have one more question in the chat. This is from Roop, and I would ask you to be very short. Thank you.
Yeah, look, it's a great presentation, great business model, great company, and actually quite a simple solution. But given what I've seen, there's a lot of complexity. You're a small team. How are you going to manage the inevitable challenges you have over business sales and commercials? And what has your financial models told you about where you should focus first, which market?
Yes, we have to consider that we are very small, so we are looking for a seed investment. Now we are closing with the first fund for a seed next week, because we have to increase our structure. But for example, we made a contract with a company in Italy, which is very big, is Fujitsu Italy, with the commercial side. They were provider of E&I and other oil companies, or Fincantieri or other big companies. And with them, we are working in the commercial side, because I'm not a commercial, it's not my job. I'm not good on that. I don't have corporate commercial. So people that are able to work in this field, not people that are on the street and you hire to do the commercial. And with them, we are creating a lot of value, because they are able with us to go to the customer in a good manner with commercial that make this activity since 30 years and with experience in the corporate, and this is very important for our company. And yes, now we are expanding our commercial side and we are making great financial results because we are on the market since last year with the COVID. Yep. We started with 30,000 euro the first year of our commercial, and today we go over the 100,000. So we are increasing a lot our revenues in a short time because we defined the right business model and the right commercial side. Obviously, it's not enough. We have to work a lot of this and increase our commercial part very, very much, and also the marketing part to let know the world that this product exists.
Okay. All right. Not quite the answer I was looking for, but we can follow up afterwards. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. I am at your full disposal for everything.
Thank you, Alessandro. Could you stop sharing your screen, please? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your attention.
Now I invite to the stage our next company, Alan and Plasma Bond. Alan?
Good morning. I'll just share my screen now. Hang on. Can you see my screen?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. Well, shall I commence?
Yes, please.
Okay. So good morning, everybody. Lightweighting is a strategically critical activity for product assembly verticals globally, and a particular factor for the future viability of any transport or wearable sector. It is the replacement of heavy materials with lighter materials such as fiber reinforced composites, and drivers include general eco sentiment, tightening carbon emission limits, which from 2025 will come with heavy penalties, and the commercial imperative to extend electric vehicle range. The main adoption barrier is process immaturity for composite bonding generally, and particularly for high volumes. Slow, multi-step and batch-wise, these are frequently labor-intensive and can suffer from up to 30% reject rates, on top of already being a bottleneck. Our tech will save one prospect over 10 million euros on one application alone per annum per year. In summary, the problem is manufacturers everywhere are trying to lightweight for various reasons. However, auto, aero, and space have no choice. And as of yet, no one has solved the key technology gap that is the bonding of dissimilar materials, at least until today. Plasma Bond closed this gap with a disruptive technology which will reduce cost of goods while greatly increasing strength, reliability, and operational flexibility. On your screen there is a schematic composite with contaminants and paint on the surface, and this is the key issue. Our technology will bypass this issue by non-destructively sublimating the upper layer, exposing undamaged fibers to act as an anchor matrix for a suitable adhesive, delivering aerospace-grade bonds every single time. This delivers bonds that are stronger, using processes which are significantly faster and more agile, and permit an effectively infinite wait time before bonding, and require a quarter of the current process steps. Each stat there versus our key competitors shown on the right, none of which also perform against our key technical benefit, zero damage. Collectively, these benefits drive up to 30% range extension for EVs. To speak briefly on what we actually provide, on your screen is a mature technology there. It's atmospheric plasma generator and emitter. These are essentially off-the-shelf devices, and they're used ubiquitously within the industry already for certain bonding functions. We provide our encrypted device to upscale new or existing generator function and create the area of effect at the composite surface. We charge a license for its use, and growth in the business is through the sale of these devices and their successors, which we'll touch on next. Our core IP is the basis for our licensed CPA technology, which is available for use today and is now validated on all major polymers, fibers, and adhesives. We have 3 major product development stages as shown, and our cloud-based recipe master system is now available and has a double benefit for us of greatly simplifying scale deployment into more of a software push than an equipment sale model, and essentially that's the green box earlier. 2023 sees the launch of our AI-enabled robotics mapping tool to simplify customer adoption and change by automating the creation of robotic pathways for complex shapes. 2024 will see our 9 years of materials know-how permitting algorithm-based in-process control and verification through the monitoring of parameters based on this know-how. In this, we can choose to modify the process to save the part or simply reject, and conversely contribute to a parametric release strategy for the client. This will create a data play for the company and generate significant levels of highly valuable industry relevant process data. Our total addressable market is composite products manufacture and is quite substantial at $182 billion. Our specific addressable market is the high volume manufacturing subset of this at around 100,000 parts per annum or more. And our specific target subset is the pre-treatment market, projected to be $2.5 billion by 2025, with segmentation as shown there on the right. However, in addition, we show, I'm going too far. We show at bottom right, the current EV market experiencing 67% growth. And why that's relevant is it illustrates the potential uptick for the broader sphere if the prohibitive challenges were resolved. Our team includes the technology director as CTO, and our commercial director has 25 years experience in automotive sector, leading tier 1 organizations such as Magna, for example, in Europe. This gives us a specific advantage in our route to market strategy, where tier 1s act as a force multiplier for market access. Our CFO has supported multiple startups with several exits, including a NASDAQ listing, and as CEO, I bring over a quarter of a century leading teams and companies in highly regulated industries. Our model is a license-based recurring revenue model with the deployment of off-the-shelf encrypted product devices, permitting licensed use of our technology. To date, we have secured over 1.4 million in funding and have met all targets set by previous rounds. We've established a substantial pipeline with clear product market fit and a trial success rate to date at 93%. We're currently closing our 2 million pre-Series A with a Series A planned for another 3 million in 2022. The primary goal is to support our product development program, which will increase the stickiness of our tech through 2025 and beyond. And secondary is to expand our international sales and marketing capacity. The output of these actions is projected there on the right in the revenues as shown, which are based on cumulative license volumes continuing to earn year on year. There is strong acquisition potential in the sector, with supply chain integration as strong behavior, particularly with composite materials suppliers as shown there at the base, and our existing partners and competitors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan, for your presentation. Now it's time for questions. Who would like to start? Hans?
Yes, thank you for your presentation. I was wondering who will be your prime customers?
Our primary customers are the tier 1 organizations that service manufacturers either in auto or in aerospace or indeed in consumer electronics. It's essentially the same route to market for all three sectors for tier 1s. Okay, and do you have customers already? Yeah, we've 7 paying customers and we have in trials now. And we have 15 actors that are what we would classify as near revenue. And of which 3 are just about to move into a pre-industrialization stage, i.e. they're going to transfer our tech to their system, to their sites. All right, thank you.
The next question is from Vadim.
Yeah, hello. Just checking, so net markets, yes. Don't I think about your plasma using as drilling, yes, for oil and gas companies or for early geothermal projects or something. So just yeah, like this.
Actually, it's I believe it's already in use generally as a boring technology and a drilling technology. I suppose what we've done is we've found the sweet spot between its destructive capability and what it's already being used for elsewhere, which is it's ionically its activation capability, where we do just enough energy to make the surface sublimate and lift off and move away, and we don't actually thermally damage what's left behind. And that's the key difference between us and our competitors.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. We have 1 more minute for questions.
Can you elaborate a bit more on how you're going to grow your revenue? So 2022 to 23 looks like you do it ×4.
Yeah. So basically, our unit, I suppose in our commercial model, our unit price is 100,000 euros per license per annum. The typical lifetime for each license is 5 to 7 years, it depends. whether we're selling directly to an OEM or whether we're sending to a tier one. And our typical tier one sale will be about, it varies, but it's on average between 10 to 15 licenses. So I suppose a gross business case is that we save about 27 euros per vehicle if we speak about auto, if we helped the manufacturer to make the two bumpers, the spoiler, and the liftgate, for example, which would be a very reasonable use case grouping because it's the same basic application. And that would save those guys 10.6 million euros per annum. And our license fee per annum for that arrangement would be about 700,000 euros. So a 7% premium, roughly.
And as of today, how do you base the assumption that the lifetime value is going to be 7 years? Or that they can
industry behavior. So a typical platform in auto is a platform will go live for 5 years, and it will have another 5 years support period at a reduced level of manufacturing capability. Now, our reality, candidly, Arlene, is that most of our customers are tier ones, and so our licenses will be on a campaign basis, and essentially for as long as the technology is a valid solution to the bonding issues, the license will be held. It isn't going to be a campaign basis like it would be on OEMs, but we have to use some model, and the OEM model is as good as any.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alan, for the presentation and for the questions. Now it's time to complete the evaluation form for this company. And I would like to invite our last company now today. This is Marco from Tempix.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
Do you see my screen, everyone?
Yes, perfectly.
Lovely, thank you. It's minus 2.5 degrees outside here, so but we don't have the snow. But this is about securing the cold chains for different products. See? Tempix is based in Sweden. We have cold chain indicators for food products, pharma products, vaccines, blood bags, and other products that need to be cold chain monitored. We have been awarded with some different prizes throughout the years, but we have not been able to succeed in the business as good as we have wanted, and we have found the issue with Tempix how to make this product to boom even more in the future. Some words about food waste. All the products in the stores, the cold chain products, you have a timestamp on them. It is expiry date or the best before date. They are almost always lying. They are always too short. So I have met many food producers throughout the years, and they are setting 1/3 too short on the expiry dates. And we are humans, we are food wasters. And it already starts at the food production when they print out the expiry date on the products. And I have also met companies that put 50% on the expiry dates. So half of the time they are saying that it is good to eat. This happens in the fridges at home. People are throwing food because they see that the expiry date has happened. I have 3 kids who are almost adults now, and I try to educate them in this too, but they are looking at the expiry date and they don't trust me because it is printed there. And I have explained this issue many times to different people. Tempix is about to help the producers and the retailers to not to play it safe and put the indicator on the products so that they can make the expiry dates far in the time. And this is a huge problem in every country in the world, and Tempix can really help with this product, with this issue, with our inexpensive label. The label is very, very cheap. It's only 1 cent per package. If the volume is very huge, it can be placed on every ice cream. It can be on be on a meat product, fish products, or whatever cold food products we can have it on. We are already doing some business, but we have not got it big enough due to our printers who are very expensive, and that is why we are searching for funds in this program together with you. We have also looked at the competitors. We are absolutely the most economic option. If you look at the cost per indicator that is placed on different products, we have something here called barcode reading blocking. We can also make the products not to be sold. We can erase the barcode on those products in stores that have been too much temperature abused. Let's say that they have failed in the cold chain and they have put the products in wrong places, or the customers have misplaced products. Then we can erase the barcodes and they can be blocked. But we can do this in a different way. We have very flexible technology, and we can do different temperatures and different go-off times depending on the customer's requirements. What we are needing the funds for, we need to produce and develop a desktop size printer to get into the business where we can secure blood bags, we can secure pharma products, we can secure different type of medicine, and also smaller food producers. Our existing printers, they are very heavy, they are big, they require pressurized air, and they are very expensive. And this has been a huge task for us to overcome this issue. So we want to develop this one together with the interested printer producer. What we are searching for within Tempix is to 1.5 million euros. That is the first round. Then we think that we will have a second round some years after. We think that we can make the break even within 2.5 years. We are very confident on that number, maybe faster also, depending on how good solution we come up with. We are already doing some business. We have two airlines. One of them is very big, who is using our technology through a partnering company. And we have also one African country. We're going to help them to secure cold chain within the country because they are searching for our help. But we are in the market already and doing some business. Thank you very much. That was the last slide.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Marco. Now it's time for questions.
Please shoot.
I'm not sure I understood the tech behind it, or how exactly do you do what you're saying you do?
I had a picture about the technology, so maybe I should show it, but okay, I can explain it. We can jump to the picture here. This one, here you see the label. Yeah. This is a product label that contains all the necessary product on this fish package. You have the weight, you have the price, the barcode, and here we have the Tempix indicator. In this product, we are erasing the barcode if this fish package has been too much temperature abused. And our technology consists of this base label. It is based on we are cooperating with a huge Finnish producer on a base paper. And their technology. We also have this cover label on top of it, and here we have a small amount of chemicals that reacts on different temperatures. The chemical we can have different recipes on, and so it is in a very low cost, inexpensive label that is monitoring the product. That is what the indicator is.
And how do you prevent competition from doing the same?
We have patents. We have patents on this product, and we have also many years of development behind this. So we have patent in some countries, USA to 2029, but to develop the label and the recipes for different temperature, it takes months for even one temperature. Let's say that you want to do +5 degrees. It takes many months to develop that temperature to be secure. We have temperature chambers. So this is we have put like I would say like 20-25 years of development for one full-time equivalent in the product development.
Thanks.
So and it's complex technology. It's about the paper, it's about the chemicals, and it is many factors that is affecting this.
Thank you. The next question is from Niels.
Thanks, Marco. I like your technology and I like the topic that you apply to. What I was just thinking of is, why do producers print like only half of the actual lifetime on the products? I assume most of the cases cold chains work well, and then apparently sometimes they have breakthroughs, and to even cover these, they just half the time. How much is the risk there that they may either get the transparency in their supply chains and pick out these half cases, or which would then take away your advantage? If they would just manage their cold chains properly, then you wouldn't need the indicator, right?
Usually they manage, but if you, let's say you're a chicken producer and you are producing chicken to 1,000 different stores, and you have the cold chain, and once you set the expiry date, that expiry date, let's say you put 7 days before the chicken expires, the chicken breast, it has to be kept below +3 degrees Celsius. You have to send those chicken every day to every store, and maybe you ship 2 times per week, or you ship every day to the different stores. So your cold chains must be perfect every time, and sometimes they go bad, and usually the mistakes happen in the stores. Actually, it is that they are stacking the products too high, and so on. We have seen many examples. We have seen a lot of issues with this, and it is a big advantage. And they play it safe. They wouldn't say put 10 days there, even if they could on the chicken, because they know that they can't do it perfectly every day. So they are reducing 1/3. 1/3, they play it safe because they can't have a food poisoning issue in one store or somewhere, and it gives them such an enormous badwill. What if they poison, part of a town or something, and it is your chicken, and then the badwill will be enormous. They will not eat your chicken anymore, maybe for a couple of months. I don't know. So they play it safe, and I have asked every food producer I met how they are setting the expiry date. That is the most important question I have for them. How do they set them? And it was a Brazilian food producer who put 50%. That's the only one who given me that answer. The other ones are around 1/3 they cut off. But Tempix is not about, they don't have to put 10 days on the chicken. They can maybe reduce it and put 8 or 9 days. It is up to them. But Tempix will go off if there's issues with the cold chain. It will go off and show it in the stores. We can make it shown to the customers as well.
I know these pictures are super short. If you had the chance to add another slide, then I would put some figures on actual waste, market size, all that kind of stuff, so that we get a picture of that.
I have a picture on that one also. Here is some, but I had some extra pictures to this one, but I have to keep it short. I have the numbers on the waste and how much money it is. It's huge. But in European Union, it's 173 kilo per person we are wasting. And the most of it is done in the homes. I have tried to convince my 3 kids not to eat that we don't throw away the old food. I have done the exact same presentation to them, but they don't follow me. They don't. If it's said its expiry date was yesterday, they won't eat it today. I have failed completely. I swear, and you will fail as well. They trust the written date, and we are wasting food. That is the issue. So I usually, what I do, I cook the meal. If the fish was from yesterday, expired yesterday, and I throw the package away, I throw it in the waste bin as low as possible. But my youngest son, he goes there and he digs it up. I swear, he finds the fish, but this expired yesterday, and then he will not eat the fish. It's a huge issue. I have been fighting for this many years with my kids, but so I want.
Well, now you have the solution. That's good.
This is crazy. It is. We are food wasters, humans, and but we have similar problem with the medicine also, and so on.
Thank you. We have time for actually for one question, but we have two, so let's try to be short. Hans?
Yes, thank you for your presentation. I was wondering if temperature is the only indicator for whether food is still consumable. I think there are other indicators like texture or smell. Are you also looking into that features?
Yeah, I know that the other features are there also. We have not looked at them too much. We want to secure the cold chains, and it is also, we also feel that the food producer, they are very sensitive if we put something inside the packages where there is the food. Then you need something, you know, to be inside the packages when you have sealed them, and they don't feel good because you have the contamination risk if you put some indicators inside together with the food, and they are kind of allergic to that kind of things. But the main benefit with our solution is the low price. It is very, very inexpensive. You can trust the product for a very, very low cost. You know, it is. We could have this on every ice cream. So because ice cream is very unforgivable food. You know, if it's temperature abused ice cream, you will see it, you will feel it, and it also changes shape, and you know have ice crystals on the surface, and so that would be actually my dream, my personal dream, to be on every ice cream. Before you take the ice cream in the store, you can see that the ice cream is good.
Okay.
The crystals.
Thank you.
One quick question. Can you disclose in which African country you are having a pilot?
The airplanes, the airlines, you mean?
You mentioned a country in Africa.
Okay. It is a small country. There's an autonomy it's a part of Somalia. It's Somaliland. So we are working together with the FDA.
Okay.
We have been there 2 times. So we have started with them. They have a gear there, or production equipment.
Thank you. And now we have some suggestions from Manuela.
Yes, thank you, Marco, for your presentation. Only a few suggestions to get your presentation better. So, in my opinion, you go straight to explain your solution in the most clearly way you can, yes. And use some video or storytelling. Also, that one about the chicken, the market. Should be okay. And please don't speak immediately about problems or issues. It's not important now. Your solution have to be seen as affordable, so don't worry about things that are not working, that always happen. Okay, so these are 2 suggestions for your presentation. Next one. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marco, for the presentation, and dear experts for your questions and suggestions. Now it's time to fill in the evaluation form for this company. Marco, you can stop sharing your screen. Thank you very much. And meanwhile, I will share some information at the end of this session, as that was the last presentation today. So I hope that this breakout session was productive and useful for companies, and also interesting for the experts. All companies will soon receive via email their evaluation results and a video recording of their pitch. Now we kindly ask you also to complete our feedback survey that now is shared in the chat. And I'm really sorry for so many links today that we needed to share with you at once. And also I would like to remind you about one-to-one meetings option starting today from 2 p.m. CET time, and continuing also on 26th of November all day long. You still can pre-book your one-to-one meetings via Tech2 community platform. Please check also the video instruction that I just shared with you in the chat. And that was all for today. I thank thank all of you for joining us and being so active. Have a nice day and see you soon again. Thank you very much.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.